Hello everyone, welcome to today's English lesson. Today we'll explore the present perfect tense and how it helps us talk about actions that started in the past and are still true now. By the end of this session, you'll be confident forming the present perfect and using it for ongoing actions. Let's get started. Part 1. What is the present perfect tense? The present perfect is a tense that connects the past with the present. For example, I have lived in London for 5 years. This means I started living in London 5 years ago and I'm still living there today. Now, here's how we form it. Start with the subject, I, you, we, they, he or she. Add have or has for he, she, it. Then add the past participle of the main verb, and we'll talk more about this later. Some examples. We have studied English for 2 years. She has worked here since January. They have played football every weekend this year. In some other languages, you use the present tense for actions that started in the past and continue now. For example, you might say, I live here for 5 years. But in English, this would be incorrect, and you will most likely be misunderstood if you say it like that. We use the present perfect instead. I have lived here for 5 years. So remember, when talking about something ongoing, the present perfect is essential in English. Part 2. Differences with past simple. It's also important to understand that the present perfect isn't usually used for talking about things that happened entirely in the past, i.e., completely finished actions disconnected from the present. We use the past simple tense for that. For example, I worked here for 5 years. Past simple. The action is finished and I no longer work here. I have worked here for 5 years. Present perfect. The action is ongoing. I still work here now. Some languages, like German or Dutch, do use have plus past participle to describe completed past actions with no connection to the present. But in English, the present perfect isn't usually used in this way. There is one exception. The present perfect can sometimes be used for completed actions when the time the action happened is unspecified. In fact, some of the examples in this lesson use the present perfect in this way. But we'll save that for a future lesson, so let's not worry about it for now. Part 3. Forming the past participle. The past participle is an essential part of the present perfect. Here's how to form it. For regular verbs, add ed to the base verb. Work becomes worked. Play becomes played. Clean becomes cleaned. Some examples. I have worked here for 3 years. They have played tennis every Saturday since we arrived. There are some spelling rules for regular verbs. If the verb ends in an E, just add D. Live, lived. If the verb ends in a consonant plus Y, change the Y to I and add ed. Study, studied. For short verbs ending in a vowel plus a consonant, double the final consonant. Stop, stopped. In fact, the past participle for regular verbs, as you may have noticed, is identical to the past simple. Just remember that the structure of the present perfect is different from the past simple because it also has the auxiliary verb have. For irregular verbs, it's a little more complicated. Irregular verbs don't follow the rules, so unfortunately, their past participles must be memorized. Here are a few examples. Go, gone, eat, eaten, write, written, see, seen. And some examples in sentences. We have eaten lunch. She has written a letter every day. I have gone to the park. There's a list of some of the most common in the extras section of this lesson. Part 4. Using the present perfect for ongoing actions. The present perfect is ideal for talking about actions that began in the past and are still happening now. For these situations, we often use for and since. Use for to describe a length of time. I have studied English for 2 years. He has worked here for 5 months. Use since to describe a starting point. She has lived here since 2018. They have worked on this project since January. Students often mix up these two, for and since, so take some time to make sure you understand the difference between them. Part 5, Real Life Practice. Now, let's use the present perfect in real-world situations. Repeat after me. I have lived in London since 2020. We have worked at the cafe for 6 months. We have had this dog for 3 years. Imagine a conversation. Your friend says, "How long have you lived here?" You reply, "I have lived here for 5 years." Your friend replies, "Have you enjoyed it?" You reply, "Yes, I have always loved this city." Now it's your turn. Think about your own experiences. How long have you been a student? How long have you known your best friend? How long have you been married? How long have you lived in your city? As you can clearly see, there are numerous situations where we talk about things which started in the past and are still happening today. Let's recap. The present perfect is used to describe actions that started in the past and are still true now. Unlike some other languages, English uses the present perfect, not the present tense, for these ongoing actions. Be careful not to confuse the present perfect with the past simple. Unlike some other languages, we don't normally use the present perfect to talk about completed actions in the past. Although, as I said, there is one exception to that, which we'll talk about in a later lesson. Remember the formula: have or has plus the past participle. Regular verbs take ed, work, worked, while irregular verbs like go, gone, must be memorized. Use for to describe a length of time, for 2 years, and since to describe a starting point, since 2020. Thanks for joining me today. Keep practicing and soon you'll use the present perfect naturally in your conversations. See you next time.